Okay, looks like we are live. I'm gonna give it just a few minutes because I started a little bit early. So those of you who are still getting on, you have time to catch the beginning of this. I do want to introduce you to my little buddy, Simba. He's gonna be on the call with us today. He just loves sitting here with me whenever I'm at my desk. So maybe he'll share a little bit about his story. Probably not, but he is going to join us. So, all right. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for taking the time to join us today. I want to thank both Bobby and Leanne for sharing their personal stories in the event over the last couple of days. They are a part of my team. I have not met Leanne in person before, but I know she totally rocks this business. And she has an amazing story. And Bobby and I have been, friends since we started this business around the same time, about 2.5 years ago. And we are actually what we call success partners, which means we push each other to go further and further in our business. And I'm forever grateful for her. And she's also got an amazing transformation story as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And the purpose of today is really just to talk to you about kind of, my experience and how this business has changed my life. And what all is involved and how you could get involved too if you thought this would be something you would be interested in trying out. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the problem. The problem that I guarantee you probably 99.9% of us have faced at some point in our life is that we have felt stuck. Okay, and what I mean by that is we felt stuck in, one of several areas, or maybe all at the same time. I mean, it really just depends on your individual situation. Sometimes for people, it's just they feel stuck in the career that they're in. Maybe they have a job that they feel like they're never going to get any further. There's really no path forward, or there's a ceiling where they can't get beyond a certain point, or maybe they're just not feeling really happy and passionate about what they do. That's one way you could be stuck. Some people feel stuck in their relationships. Maybe it's just that there's a lack of relationships that they would like to have, and they're not sure how to progress forward beyond what their current situation is. Sometimes you're in a relationship that you feel stuck in, and you need to get out of it because it's either unhealthy or it's just not the ideal situation for you. But sometimes it's hard to, again, get out of that situation because you're not sure how to move past it and what is going to fill that void. Sometimes you're feeling stuck in a financial way. I personally have tons of debt. And I'm happy to say we finally paid off all of our student loans, and that was a huge victory. But there's still tons more that we have to go. So I know a lot of people in this country feel the same way. Yes, we have lots of opportunity, but a lot of times, we find ourselves starting out with less than $0 in cash. All right. So sometimes it's just a feeling of like, how do I change that situation so I have more income and I can pay down these debts and I can have more cash flow? So it could be just that you're financially stuck. Sometimes you feel stuck in your health, your physical appearance, the way that you feel about the way that you look, and you're not really sure how to get started, or you've tried things and stopped and they just haven't worked, and you've had a trouble staying consistent. Not really sure how to move forward with that. Now, I mean, I can attest to that. I obviously love fitness and nutrition by the title of my page, but it wasn't always that way. I always struggled with consistency, staying on with a meal plan or completing a program start to finish. That was always a big struggle for me because I didn't have the support and accountability that I have now. So there's certainly a lot of different ways that you can feel stuck. All right. The last, I would say, I had another one and I forget what it was. Oh, you may feel stuck mentally, meaning you just can't figure out how to get beyond these thoughts that you're having about yourself that are negative and they're not serving a purpose for you. Okay, so it's really hard to get past that. I totally understand that. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. And really, for me, that has been the biggest transformation over the last 7 years. So I'm going to rewind. And before I really go into this, I want to talk to you a little bit about I want you guys to think back to your childhood. Hopefully, you grew up in a very supportive family. I know not all of us have that luxury, but hopefully, you had at least someone in your life who told you that you could do anything that you wanted, that you should shoot for the stars, that you should, go for it, do whatever you dream about. And what tends to happen is, we're little, we believe that 100%. And somewhere along the line, these thoughts start to creep into our heads that prevent us from actually going after those dreams. We start to think things like, well, I'm not good enough, or I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the skills to do that. I have no idea where to start. I don't have the finances to start this. There's so many things that creep into our heads and hold us back from the potential that we have. Okay, so the challenge is, how do you get beyond that? And I'm going to give you some ideas for that a little bit later. If you guys have been following the event over the last week, I have been giving a couple of tips on how you can start to make your mind right, start to visualize, start to focus, start to repeat positive affirmations in your head. Those are all ways to help you get beyond that. And honestly, in my opinion, that's the very first thing that you need to do. Because if you have something in your head that's telling you you can't do something, guys, you're never going to get anywhere. All right. So that's the first step. Work on the mental part of this. All right. So let's go into a little bit of my personal story. You heard Bobby and you heard Leanne talk a little bit about their stories. For me, I would say, yes, I have had a physical transformation. My husband and I decided about 6 months before our wedding that we were going to 100% commit to fitness and nutrition, because we wanted we wanted our wedding pictures to show us at our best possible shape of our lives. All right, so we committed to it together and we had amazing results. I lost 20 pounds. My husband lost 45 pounds. We both gained the most amazing upper body strength, I would say, that either of us had ever achieved. So obviously that helped a lot with the mental self-talk too, because we felt really good about the way that we looked and felt. But I would say that the biggest transformation for me was on the inside. It was the mental and emotional transformation. So I'm going to rewind back to about 7 years ago. I was in a relationship that sparked very quickly, progressed extremely fast, probably a lot faster than I was really ready for, because I had never been in a serious relationship prior to that. And then all of a sudden, he told me that he just wasn't in it anymore. His heart wasn't in it anymore. It was completely heartbreaking for me because it had taken me many, many years to get to the point where I felt like I could open up to someone enough to be in a serious relationship, and then to have him, completely break my heart. It was a really, really rough time. Let me tell you guys that I went into a very deep depression it lasted about a year. It was a lot of, I was at work and I would go into the closet and cry for a half hour every day. I was coming home and not making good food choices as a result, because I was trying to eat my emotions away. I made a lot of bad decisions on the weekends, going out and partying, drinking way too much. And obviously there was some weight gain, and I just had a lot of negative self-talk. I cried myself to sleep almost every night. And it really just took me a long time to get to the point where I decided, you know what, I don't want to feel like this anymore. Like, I'm tired of being sad all the time, and I'm tired of being stuck in this depression. I'm tired of putting my life on hold because of this person who doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. So well, first of all, I watched this movie someone told me about, and it's called The Secret. And I totally recommend you guys watch it if you're feeling like you're in this space right now where you are not feeling the best about yourself. It was a total mind changer for me because it made me start to think about how I really had control of how I was feeling and what I was doing, the actions I was taking. And it made me realize that if I were to start focusing on the positive things in my life, I would start to feel a little bit better. I would start to choose to do better activities. I would make better decisions, bring better opportunities into my life. And that really was the start of the change for me. Now, this all happened before this opportunity came around, but there's certainly been a lot more growth, which I'm going to go into that in a little bit. But basically, once I made that decision, I started putting action into place. I found this group that I joined that was sort of like a social group. It was an opportunity to do lots of events together, meet new people, and it was an opportunity for me to do activities that I always wanted to try, but I just never got around to. Like, I went skydiving, which was so much fun. I don't ever need to do it again, but at least I can say I did it. I can check that off my list. And there was just a bunch of great activities that I was able to do. So it helped me kind of get back into the social atmosphere again and start to feel a little bit more confident and have fun. All right. From there, then it became more of like a career thing where I felt stuck. At the time, I was working in daycare. And if any of you have ever worked in that field or have had your kids in daycare, you know that it costs a lot to put your kids there, but the people who work there don't get paid very much at all. And it's very stressful. It's a lot of work. And a lot of times we were underappreciated, not necessarily by the parents, but sometimes by the staff, and just compensation wise. So I got to a point with that where I was like, okay, I'm feeling better about myself, but now I'm stuck in my career and I need to figure out something else because this is not working. Like, I'm not ever going to make more than like $10 an hour. And there's no way I can survive on that the rest of my life. I have student loans to pay. I have a mortgage. I have all this stuff, and this is not cutting it for me. So I've got to figure something else out. So at that time, I decided to go back to school, and I got a degree then in business and accounting. And while I was going to school, I decided I had a really bad day at the daycare, and I was like, you know what? I know I'm not done with this degree yet, but let's see if I can get a job somewhere in this field just to get, my feet wet and to get started. So I applied a couple of different places and I got an interview, and I showed up for that interview really excited. It was for a financial advisory position, and I didn't know a whole lot about it other than what I kind of researched ahead of time. And really funny story, the person who interviewed me is now my husband. So through all of that, I ended up meeting, my soulmate. And I feel like because of that bad experience that I had, like I said, it took me a while to get past all of it. But because of that, I found a career that I'm much happier with, and my husband. So things definitely got better, but it all started with up here, deciding to make a change and deciding that I wanted better for myself. So that's where it's got to start for you guys too. And then before we got married, like I said, we jumped into fitness and nutrition, and I was introduced to this community of people that were super positive and supportive and all like cheering each other on to get that workout in every day and to make healthier choices with our food. And it was something I never had before. So I was able to stick to a whole program for the first time in my life. We did P90X the entire 90 days, did not skip a single day. We even did the meal plan that came along with it, 100%. And that's how we got the results that we had. But I never would have been able to do that if, first of all, I didn't have this community that I was a part of. And second of all, if I didn't have my husband as my workout buddy. But yeah, so that definitely was a big thing for me. And then while being a part of this community, my friend who invited me to it asked me if I wanted to do what she did, which was running groups, you know, like the one I was in, to help others stay on track. And she told me that she actually got paid to do it. So of course I was intrigued. I didn't really necessarily think I was going to go all in with this business. I was happy with my career at the time. But I knew that it was a great community to be a part of. So I figured, you know, I at least give it a shot. And I will tell you guys that the more of like the emotional and personal growth has come from being a part of the business side of this. And I'm also happy to say that because of this business is part of the reason why I've been able to pay down my student loans. And now I'm at least debt free in that sense. So let me tell you guys a little bit about what I think is like the formula for getting focused and having a more, like leading more of a life of purpose, which is the title of this webinar. So it really comes down to 4 things plus an extra 5th. Oh, and Simba's back again. Say hello, Simba. Say hi. He's locked in here with me, so he decided to come back and sit with me. But anyways, it really comes down to 4 things. The first 2 are really how you feel physically. All right, so that has to do with, hold on, I'm looking for my actual formula, which I have written down somewhere. That has to do with fitness and nutrition, okay? And like I said, that's a big part of my personal story. And without having those in my life, you know, I go back to 3 years ago before I joined this opportunity. And I remember, you know, every single day being at work and like right after lunchtime, feeling like I needed to take a nap. Always feeling tired, really having no energy or like clarity of mind to get what I needed to get done. I just always felt kind of like, you know, foggy in my head. And it was because, you know, I wasn't feeding my body properly to be able to focus mentally the way that I should be. And I also like didn't feel good all the time. So, you know, I was getting sick and stuff like that pretty frequently. But that all changed with, you know, fitness and nutrition. And, you know, the fitness part just comes down to sticking with a program. And of course, there's tons of different ways that you guys can work on fitness. I have one specific way that I'm offering to you, but it really just depends on what works for you. I personally like the programs that I have available to me because they are so easy to follow. It's all planned out for you. There's a calendar that comes along with it, and literally you just follow every single day, you know, the workout that you have for that day. And you can do it at home. You know, you can pick one that's like 22 minutes a day, which really isn't that much at all. Or, you know, if you have more time and you have bigger goals, you could potentially do something that's like an hour long every day. But the big piece is just getting a plan in place for fitness. It's you guys all know it's important to exercise every day, and you just got to make it a priority. But this community will help you stick to it. The second piece of that, which is nutrition, comes down to planning your meals a little bit better. I know personally that I'll share with you guys, and this is like horrible. 3 years ago and before, I went to McDonald's like 2 or 3 times a week, which I'm happy to say now in the last 2.5 years, I've not been there once. But like fast food was a big part of my life. Dinners were like Hot Pockets and, TV dinners, healthy choice, which is not really very healthy if you actually read the ingredients. But all of those things have changed now that I've actually learned how to cook foods in a way that, they're healthy, but they actually taste so much better than any prepackaged thing you could ever have. So again, a lot of these programs that I do also have meal plans that come with them. So it's super easy to follow. It's already put together for you, recipes, everything. You just have to make it and stick to it. So those are the 2 physical pieces of the formula, fitness and nutrition. The second 2 pieces, again, focus more on the mental and emotional. The first is what I call personal development. And those habits that I've shared with you over the last couple of days are a piece of that. Personal development is really, figuring out where you are lacking in your mental attitude, and then reading books or listening to podcasts or audiobooks that will help you in those specific areas. So like for me, it's always been like getting over procrastination, getting past that, getting over self-doubt and fear, and just getting done when I need to get done. So I listen to podcasts and I read books that pertain to those things because I know that's where I'm lacking and I need help. So that's been a big piece of this too, because I never would have thought before that should be something I should be doing every single day. But I'll tell you guys, for the last year at least, it took me a while to incorporate this into my regular daily routine, but for the last year, I've been doing it every single day. And I just feel so much more positive about life in general and what I'm doing to help all of you. And then the last piece of that is support. Okay, again, I told you guys that before, I used to just try to do workouts and stick to diets on my own, but I never had anyone doing it with me or anyone cheering me on. So it was very hard for me. As soon as I would hit that, like that mental block or that day, that bad day, I'd fall off the wagon and I just never got back on again. So by having this community to cheer me on, it's allowed me to stick with my fitness and nutrition now for 2.5 years, which, that's a record for me, by far a record for me. And do I still have bad days? Absolutely. We all do. There'll be a day where I might, miss my workout, or might not work out as intensely as I wanted to, or, I might cheat a little bit on my nutrition plan, but, I always come back to it, right? So, and that's because I have that community and I'm seeing other people doing the healthy things, and it makes me want to get back into it. And because part of my job is to help others stay on track, it helps me get back on track too, because I know I need to be an example for everyone. So those are the 4 main pieces. Okay, so again, fitness and nutrition, the 2 that will, help you physically feel better and more focused. And then the last 2, support and personal development, okay, which will help you get your mind and heart right so that you can get past any self-doubts or fears that you have. Okay, now the added bonus to this formula is what I call paying it forward. All right, so I'm forever grateful for my friend who invited me to this, for sharing this opportunity with me, because, and gosh, I wish I would have known about it years and years ago, because it's absolutely been life-changing. I feel so much more better and confident about myself and my life than I ever thought was possible, physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. So I'm forever grateful for that. And my job now is to do the same thing my friend did for me, and to share that opportunity with all of you. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about what this entails. It is what we call a coaching opportunity. And there's a couple of things first that I'm going to just put out there right away, because I know these are common things that people say when I talk to them about this opportunity, that are those mental blocks in their head of, there's no way I could do that. You know, one of the most common things is, well, how can I help someone else if I'm not where I want to be yet? I totally get that. Guys, when I started, I was in the middle of my transformation journey physically, and I certainly wasn't anywhere near where I am now emotionally and mentally. But the cool thing is, because I was sharing what I was doing over those months and years, I had people asking me what I was doing. And it was only natural to tell them about the opportunity and to bring them along with me on the journey. So you don't have to be at your fittest. You don't have to be 100% who you want to be. I honestly don't think anyone ever really gets to be at 100% who they want to be. At least I hope not. You know, I hope we all continue to strive to be better every single day. And the other thing I hear a lot too is, you know, I don't have the money to do this. And like, totally get that. Again, I thought exactly the same thing, because I had a lot of debt. I still do. A lot of expenses, a lot of monthly bills. But if you think about anyone who starts a business, a lot of times they're looking at thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars sometimes to even get started. And in this business, it's not like that at all. It's such a small percentage of, you know, your income that it's totally worth it. And the fact that you can make that money back, plus, you guys, like, you don't have a ceiling. There is no limit to how much money you can make. Can you say that in, you know, the job that you have now? I know I couldn't when I was in daycare or when I was a teacher before that. I knew there was a limit. I knew there was only so far that I could go. There is no limit with this. It's just all about what you want to put into it and what you want to get out of it. A lot of times, you know, those are really the two biggest things. People also will say, well, you know, I'm not a salesperson. And like, I get that. I work in sales as a financial advisor, but I don't consider myself a salesperson in either that or what I do as a fitness and nutrition coach, because I come at it from a viewpoint of, you know, I'm really just trying to help people. That's all it is. I'm trying to help people be more financially healthy. I'm trying to help people feel and look healthier. I'm trying to help people, you know, get more mental clarity, feel better about themselves, love themselves again, because there's just so much negativity all around us. And that's really what I do, is I just support people, I help them, I give them the tools they need to be successful, and that's it. So let me tell you a little bit about what I do as a coach. Basically, you know, like I said, I take a lot of time to get to know people and really understand what their fears and doubts are, and, you know, what are the things that they've always wanted to accomplish, whether that's, you know, financially, physically, career-wise, relationship-wise, whatever it is for them, wherever they're feeling stuck, and putting a plan of action in place for them, by providing them, like I said, the tools, the fitness program, the nutrition plan that is going to get them where they want to get. If they're interested in the business, you know, giving them the tools to understand how to present this to others and how to get people, you know, involved, and how to improve their own financial situation in the meantime. So, you know, I've run support groups to help people, and that's really how I get paid, is by connecting people with the proper tools. So it's an opportunity I want to present to you guys and tell you that, like I said, there's so many great things about this. It's going to do so much for you personally, as far as growth, but you also have the opportunity to do something, to change someone else's life, to improve this world little by little, one person at a time. You know, I see it as, if I've helped one person every day, I've done my job. And it makes me feel really good to know that I can help someone feel better about themselves, And it also makes me feel better about myself because I help them. So what I encourage you guys to do is this. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and for whatever reason, I can't see if any of you typed any questions. So hold on. I thought there was a way for me to see, but I can't see. So if you did type any questions below the webinar, I'll look at them later after the live broadcast ends and get back to you guys with answers to your questions. Or if you feel more comfortable messaging me privately, then that's totally fine too. There's a lot more details to go into, but I really just wanted to give you guys, you know, the whole reasoning behind why I do this and how it could be something that could catapult you to the next stage of your life and get you unstuck. So I want to provide you guys with a couple of incentives, and if you decide this is something that you ultimately would like to try, you know, I always give out a free little goodie bag of things for anyone who decides to get, you know, into the opportunity. And I would say, you know, if you decide you want to commit by Tuesday night, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So, you know, if you're in the UK, you've got a little bit longer. If you're in the US or Canada, depending on what time zone you're in, you might have to, you know, get back to me a little sooner. And that actually brings me to another point. So US and Canada, anyone who's watching this and is interested in learning about more, you know, you are able to join whenever you would like to. But anyone from the UK, we're actually just launching over there in October. So it's not quite ready yet. October 9th is the official, or 19th, I'm sorry, is the official launch date. But there is a site to send you to get you some more information in the meantime. So don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, what exactly, if you have more questions about the financial side of it, more about, you know, what you do, you know, how you get involved, how you help others, you know, like I said, ask questions, message me. I'll talk a little bit more about the details. But thank you guys so much for getting on live with me today. I know I had a couple of viewers. I can see that I have some. I just can't see who you are. So I apologize. I didn't say hi to everyone personally, but I'll be able to see that later. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your Sunday. And hopefully you found this a little bit inspirational. You at least got something out of this, even if you decide not to join this opportunity. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and let's chat soon. All right, take care, guys.